You're watching us from our headquarters in Canifing, and this is the news coming to straight from Banjul, also coming up. The Vice President receives more flood relief materials meant for Kuntawur from local philanthropists. Nawek edges closer to financing the ongoing recovery of the national power grid, with new introductions taking effect by the end of November. And making it happen, the women in leadership converge to pave the way towards meaningfully engaging the nation's women and girls. Plus, an apology is just not good enough for survivors of Liberia's Ebola outbreak, as the Red Cross admits to have misappropriated funds during the deadly epidemic. Well, these and other stories coming ahead in the next 30 minutes. I am Fatu Janimbai. Well, good to have you with us. It is the biggest ever response to a natural disaster. Victims of the Kuntawur floods are still receiving relief support from philanthropists across the country. The latest comes from the Sunset Hotel, who donated bales of second-hand clothing received on behalf of the community by the Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs in Banjul. Our Samuel Ba picks up the rest of that story.
Helping victims of the Kuntawur floods get back on their feet. Officials of Sunset Hotel are the latest to join the outpouring of support and aid to victims with bales of second-hand clothing. Hayat Blel is the general manager of Sunset Hotel.
People suffered a great deal this past summer due to the heavy rains and the windstorms, losing their homes and their food stocks. And it was really nice to see stakeholders come together with NDMA to support those in crisis. And we thought we had to do something as well. And that is the reason we are here today. This is only a small gesture, but we really hope to be part of the NDMA and to continue in the future and to push everyone to do the same, because it's an important fund.
Serigne Moru Diouf of the National. Noting that it is the first time they are receiving such from a hotel.
I would first and foremost wish to send our appreciation to Sunset Hotel for this brilliant idea. I suppose, yes, there had been quite a lot of interventions, but this is the first of its kind coming from a hotel industry, which also shows that they have a big take in our efforts to help those that are most vulnerable. Of course, the government of the Gambia is quite cognizant of your role. As we speak, you are already aware of the UNDP JEF project, which is trying to save the coastal erosion along the Senegambia-Kairaba highway, in which it is being done to make sure that your properties on those sides of the country is safeguarded. Of course, having you reciprocating in this order is quite timely, and I would wish to thank you very much and urge some of the other hoteliers to emulate your footsteps.
Cherno Omar Bari represented the health minister at the presentation ceremony.
So when gestures of this nature come, following the call of Her Excellency the Vice President and her leadership, because she made the call, she went there immediately after the disaster. She was there to champion the support of everybody, to ensure that we save lives, particularly those of women and children who are most vulnerable in circumstances of this nature. I'm happy that this call is being responded to, and Sunset Hotel is part of the people who have been very, very benevolent in giving support. Any support is really very much valued.
The Vice President and Minister for Women's Affairs said her office is honored to have partners like Sunset Hotel coming forward to support government.
We are always honored to see our partners answer our call. One of the questions people might ask is why health is here. I have two dimensions. One, it's a call to sensitize the public, particularly the private sector, that the health sector is also in a critical situation. They need enormous support. And if you talk about disaster, Disaster might not be only storms and flood. It might also be deprivation of the basic necessities of life, like the hospital needs bedding, they need linens, they need a lot of supplies, and I think the private sector can play a key role. We also want to thank you specifically for the support you are giving to the NDMA in respect of the flood victims in Kuntawur.
The Kuntawur floods left many families affected, and all they need is a great deal of support to take back control of their lives. Samuel Bah, GRTS.
The managing director of the National Water and Electricity Company has said that works at the main engines in both Koto and Brikama power stations is at an advanced stage, and that by the end of November, consumers will experience improvement in electricity supply. The managing director made these remarks during his tour to the main power station in Koto, where engineers are working to ensure normalcy in the power grid. Now, meanwhile, NAWEC is currently installing a new megawatt engine at the Koto power station. If everything goes as planned, the installation of the engine will finish in December, according to official accounts. Experts say this will be followed by its commissioning, set to last for 45 days before engine operation begins in January. Well, inshallah. The Office of the Inspector General hereby informs the general public that the permit issued to the hashtag Occupy Westfield for their planned protest slated for the 12th November 2017 has been revoked. Their decision, the release adds, is based on credible intelligence and security concerns that there are certain people who want to take advantage of the protest to carry out criminal activities that may threaten the existing peace. Therefore, the general public and parents especially are advised to discourage their children from convening in the protest, and anyone found wanting would be dealt with according to the law. The release ends. Well, it is a picture of women solidly taking their future by the reins. The undertaking has partnered Bridging Gaps Advisory and the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and the result is the first ever Women Leadership Forum in the Gambia, aimed at unlocking the potentials of women in nation building. Aisa Taketa tells us more.
It is the maiden edition of the Women Leadership Forum, which came out on the heels of the launch of the first leading women magazine earlier this year. Themed on making it happen together, the forum brought together women leaders from different backgrounds to learn, inspire, network, as well as share insights and discuss development possibilities for Gambian women to thrive in every endeavor.
Women are said, and it is true, to be the fabric of society. The woman, with her intelligence and personality, protects the entire society, called family. And it seemed as if we are all here today talking about that institution, which is the family unit. And the women are the managers to ensure that there is no disruption and there is no disintegration. Recognizing the role of women makes our societies richer and more secure.
Just 4% of the leadership positions in Fortune 500 companies, according to Rockefeller Foundation report. Given this reality, there is an urgent need to seek innovative ways to effectively uplift the socio-economic status of women.
Looking at the gains made thus far in empowering women, taking up leadership roles and decision-making undertakings have been the greatest challenge for many women in the Gambia. It's the reason why efforts like this one are spearheaded by leading women to bridge those gaps.
While we celebrate the progress made in the advancement of women around the world since Beijing, we all know the daunting challenges remain. On the intellectual front, UNDP continues to provide leadership, promoting lively debate on sustainable development through the publication of human development reports. The 1995 Human Development Report focused on gender gap between women and men.
In the Gambia, women are not in the back seat anymore. Advocacy and awareness-raising programs are being driven in diverse sectors to inspire women and girls across the country.
Forget about being a girl or woman. You're there, you got there. You're there. See what can you do to be able to impact again in terms of other people's lives in your society. And again, I must say, as we sit here, we're talking about women leaders in terms of being MDs, being CEOs, or leading certain institutions. But we really need to recognize the need in terms of the women who are in rural Gambia. We need to really reach out to them, and there are a lot.
Here, an interactive session provides an opportunity for women to share their experiences and strides made to reach their desired goals.
But a candle, by lighting another candle, doesn't lose its glow. Together, the two candles make the room shine brighter. So when I coach and I mentor and I get somebody stronger, together the work is lighter. I believe you should be decisive, as Janet said. You should be decisive. You should consult. That's the way women are. We consult, but we are decisive.
It was an insightful and thought-provoking gathering of leading women entrepreneurs aimed to make a difference in various fields, but with one thing in common, an unyielding aspiration to uplift the socio-economic status of Gambian women.
You should know you're beautiful just the way you are. And you don't have to change a thing, the world could change its heart.
For GRTS News, I am Aissatou Keita.
Well, over now to an excerpt where the managing director of the National Water and Electricity Company, NAWEC, has said that works at the main engines in both Kotu and Brikama power stations is at an advanced stage, and that by the end of November, consumers will experience improvement in electricity supply. The managing director made these remarks during his tour to the main power station in Kotu, where engineers are working to ensure normalcy in the power grid. Take a listen.
We are here in Kotu at the National Water and Electricity Company's main power station, where engineers are working tirelessly to maintenance the engines and bring them back to normalcy. We are currently at the G8 engine, where overhaul of the engine is ongoing, and expectations are that towards the end of the month, the load shedding that the consumers of NAWEC are experiencing will be reduced drastically, and stability and the capacity to the network will be assured of. But to comment more on that, I would like to introduce the Managing Director of NAWEC and the man in charge of generation here to give us an update of the ongoing works.
We all know that we have been going through very trying moments, but all efforts are geared towards ensuring that we return to normalcy. And in doing so, what we have embarked upon is a short-term program that will enable us to pick on the lost generation that we have. You could remember the last time when we were here, I told you that we have lost almost 50% of our capacity. The short-term measure is actually to recover part of that lost generation, and also embark on projects that can give us the minimum that we require to satisfy the demand. As we speak now, I'm sure for the past few days we must have realized some improvement in our supply system, because we are able to bring back 2 engines, making it 8. For the past 3 weeks we were running 6 engines, and now due to the activities that we have embarked upon, we have been able to recover 2 more engines. Going forward, our target is to ensure that by end December, we are able to normalize. And part of that effort is to replace and rehabilitate one of our engines that we lost some years ago, we call G8. It's 6 megawatts. Now the works are very advanced. All the materials that we need to have a functional plant are on the ground, and as you have seen, works are progressing, and by the end of this month, hopefully that engine also will be available to make our 9 engines.
Now, meanwhile, NAWEC is currently installing a new megawatt engine at the Kote Power Station. If everything goes well as planned, the installation of the engine will finish in December according to official accounts. Experts say this will be followed by its commissioning set to last for 45 days before engine operation begins in January. Take a listen again.
Well, viewers, from the look of things, NAWEC is working tirelessly to reach that targeted 70% of energy needed to supply its consumers with uninterrupted power supply. A case in point is here at the 11 megawatt generator, where engineers are working very hard to fix the bits and pieces together and ensure that this engine that you are seeing is up and running by the end of December or latest January.
Our target is to start the commissioning of the engine end of December. And as you can see, this engine is not just to turn and to run the engine. There is a lot
to go through test period.
Yes, there is. We have to commission, and we call it cold and hot commission. So normally it should take between 30 to 45 days. We are talking about commissioning if everything is okay. And once we commission, we will start the running of the engine, and we have also to perform the trial run period where all the engine is completed, and we have to show the client that the performance of the engine is as per the contract requirements.
Mr. George, you are aware of the difficulties NAWEC is facing in providing stable electricity to its consumers. Now you are installing this. At the end of the period, at the end of the day, how will it contribute towards the significant supply of electricity to the populace?
We are part of this country, and we are daily living here, and we know how difficult it is for the power. And we believe with this unit, once we will put it on in the grid, it will be solved most the problem we have in the country. Of course, this engine is designed by man and fabricated by a reputable company, Doosan, under their license. And every single part installed on this is done and witnessed and certified by Doosan technical advisors. So we are talking about big issue. We cannot tolerate any mistake, and this should be done in a way to assure that the warranty as mentioned by man.
And now, that's it from NAWEC. A fire outbreak has ravaged 3 houses of the Jamikunda household in Talinding, Medina. Residents of the compound say the fire was started by a candle left lit in one of the rooms during an electricity outage. The inferno registered no casualties, but family members told GRTS that almost $60,000 in cash was lost in the blaze that began at 10 o'clock p.m. Thursday night and totally destroyed all belongings in the affected houses. Neighbors and friends helped put out the blaze, which was finally stopped by the Gambia Fire Service. The National Youth Council, in collaboration with UNICEF, Saturday completed a sensitization tour on transitional justice for children and youth in the West Coast region. The delegation, comprising officials from the 2 institutions and other stakeholders, held forums in Buyam, Brikama, and Gunjur. Esaso tells us more.
The purpose of the tour is all about sensitizing the public on transitional justice process and to make sure that especially the children and youth to know what the transitional justice is all about and the importance of truth-seeking operations in the country.
In the framework of the UN intervention, UNICEF is planning to help the Gambia government and other stakeholders put in place fundamental structures for the establishment of a child-sensitive transitional justice process. The sensitization workshops in the West Coast region forms a part of a nationwide tour aimed at ensuring children actively take part in the transitional justice process.
So far, it has been
Well, we apologize on that. The Minister of Lands and Regional Government, Lamin Ndiba, accompanied by senior staff of his ministry, embarked on a 5-day nationwide familiarization tour. And as we hear in this report by Sally Jaju, the tour was meant to garner first-hand information on institutions under his purview.
This was his first nationwide tour to institutions under his purview since his appointment as Minister of Lands and Regional Government. The tour began in Barra, North Bank region, where Minister Diba and delegation were accorded a rousing welcome at the Barra ferry terminal by regional authorities. Minister Diba was later taken on a conducted tour of the Kerewan Area Council Sub-Treasury Office at Barra Market before visiting the Amdalai Car Park jointly constructed by the Kerewan Area Council and Amdalai Car Park Union. Minister Diba also visited several project sites in the North Bank region, including Women Multipurpose Center in Sitanonko. Late in the evening, Minister Diba also held meeting with regional authorities at the Governor's House in Kerewan. He acknowledged the important role chiefs and other local government authorities continue to play in their various capacities and assured them of his ministry's support at all times. In Central River region, Minister Diba also visited several project sites and later held meetings in Kuntauru and Janjambure. At various meetings, several speakers took turns to highlight on the challenges they continue to face in their daily functions. Addressing the gatherings, Minister Lamin N. Diba advised local government authorities to execute their functions without fear or favor, adding that the era of executive directives is over. He also advised the people of the region to be united and forget their past political differences and work towards building a new and better Gambia. Similar meetings were held in Upper River and Lower River regions by Minister Diba and delegation. At the end of the tour, Minister Diba shared his impression with GRTS.
It also gave me the opportunity to interact with my staff at the provincial level. And it gave me the opportunity also to look at some of the activities they are involved in. We look at some of the technical aspect of the operation of the Department of Community Development. We look at this joint intervention with other departments with regards to establishments of skill training centers at village level. Also, you could remember that we listened to some of the problems at village level, at district level, at regional level. And since I had traveled with all the line department heads, when we get back, we'll sit together, we'll review our trip, we'll look at all the issues, and we'll come up with conclusions that will be useful to both the ministry and the people concerned.
At every gathering, Minister Diba extended President Adama Barrow's goodwill message of gratitude to the people, especially the women folk, for their continuous support to his government. The second leg of the tour will take Minister Diba and delegation to West Coast Region, Kanifing Municipal Council, and the Banjul City Council. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Sally Jaju.
Now it's busy times at the National Assembly, with different committees moving to assess their sectors amid other oversight functions. One of those calls has been made by the Select Committee for Health, which recently kick-started a nationwide fact-finding tour of institutions under its regulation. Legislators are looking to examine challenges faced by the sector to formulate viable solutions. Mariama Balde has more.
Serekunda General Hospital in Kanifing was established in 2010, serving a catchment area with a high population density. The hospital employs hundreds of people. On a monthly basis, the health facility conducts 500 deliveries and over 1,000 major operations annually. About 25 secondary health facilities refer to this hospital from both the public and private sector. The Chief Executive Officer, Keba Mane, expressed delight over the visit. He said the hospital's key challenges include shortage of drugs, equipment and consumables, inadequate subvention, structural inadequacies, amongst others.
As we speak, the 2017
drug supply from the central medical store has not reached us till now. 2017, and is phasing out. 2017 is going out now. So the hospital has been struggling all along to buy drugs, essential drugs especially, emergency drugs per se. So there are serious challenges with drugs. We are buying every now and then, to ensure the hospital moves on.
Mr. Mane stressed the need to construct additional wards due to congestion of the existing wards and also more resource allocation for the health sector.
There is need for expansion of the existing wards/units. For example, maternity unit is tight, considering the number of deliveries that occur here monthly. It requires expansion to accommodate for more space and more patients to be admitted comfortably. Sometimes we have 2 in a bed. We have to admit 2 conditionally.
Speaking at the Tanka Tanka Psychiatric Center in Salaji, the departmental matron, Fode Jaula, described as alarming the rising number of mental health cases.
As we all know, mental illness is in alarming rate. Many people are getting the illness every now and then, because most of them who are coming here, their conditions are very acute. If I said acute, it means the patients are threatening in the community. So definitely they have to be kept at some place to be given right medication for their conditions to be abated before allowing them to be taking outpatient treatment.
The chairman of the health committee, Honorable Usman Silla, asserted that improving health service delivery is a priority for the government.
Your engagement is really commendable. You are doing something that is not lucrative, that is not attracting people, but you are doing it out of your love for humanity, out of love for human beings. So it's really commendable. We really appreciate that, and we'll ensure that we will do the maximum to ensure that you are able to do your work conveniently and effectively.
Reporting for the news, I am Mariama Balde.
And on the international front, discover why an apology is just not enough to appease survivors of the recent Ebola outbreak in Liberia, as the Red Cross admits to have misappropriated funds, and what's about the new role between Burundi and the International Criminal Court. Find out more when we come back in just a moment.
The best deals of the year.
Yeah.
If I say discounts on the whole house, you say
a new living room.
All right. And if I tell you incredible prices,
we make over the bathroom.
So take the plunge into the water.
Whoa.
Yes. Take your comfort to another level. So do not miss the golden deal.
The prices
in promotion. Batimat, quality guaranteed. The golden deal. The best deals of the year for the whole house with Batimat's quality.
Lu bees a bees, lu bees a bees.
Ne moji fori.
Hey, lu bees a bees, lu bees a bees.
Ne moji fori.
Hey, ma waxati.
Ñëwal.
Aka sakkan loolu.
Ñëwal.
Aka neex loolu.
Ñëwal.
Neex na ci pancake.
Ñëwal.
Neex na ci mburu.
Ñëwal.
Neex na ci tapala.
Ñëwal.
Tey moji fori.
Ñëwal.
Aka sakkan loolu.
Ñëwal.
Lay lay la la.
Moji fori.
Xolal cas ma yëkkati.
Ba atan ken ko moji. Neex na ci pancake, neex ci mburu, moji fori. Baax ci tapala ba baax ci seen pour
moji fori.
Réew mi jëndal leen ko. Foriñ bi dafa neex lool ta sakan lool.
Moji fori.
Moji bu mu jëndee ba tey bonot.
Moji fori. Moom lañu taamu ta sakan lool. Moji fori. Aka neex. Jënd leen ko.
Yéen ñu doon ut foriñ bu baax, foriñ bu sakkan. Demal tey ca Moustapha J Diallo and Sons ca 61 OAU Boulevard mbi tey it nga teg sa téléphone call leen ci 4227 566 wala it 92 44 331 kon wala it nga dem ci seen makkaan ba nekk Pictin waa kër Moustapha J Diallo and Sons.
Golden deal.
Welcome back.